Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelby, and for today's video I'm going to be talking about some romances that I think are going to be 5-star reads for me. At the time of filming this video, all of these books haven't come out yet, but most of them are coming out either this month, next month, and at the latest January. I usually do about 5 books for these videos, but I have 7 books to talk about today. After I read the books, I will do a follow-up video talking about whether or not all of them were 5-star books or if they kind of fell flat. As always, I will link all the books that I talk about down below, and let's get right into it. The first one that I have is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover, and this one comes out in mid-January. I'm a big Colleen Hoover fan. I read a lot of her books 4 or 5 stars, so I have a feeling I'm going to love this one. And this book says, after serving 5 years in prison for a tragic mistake, Kenna Rowan returned to the town where it all went wrong, hoping to reunite with her 4-year-old daughter. But the bridges Kenna burned are proving impossible to rebuild. Everyone in her daughter's life is determined to shut Kenna out no matter how hard she works to prove herself. The only person who hasn't closed the door on her completely is Ledger Ward, a local bar owner and one of the few remaining links to Kenna's daughter. But if anyone were to discover how Ledger is slowly becoming an important part of Kenna's life, both would risk losing the trust of everyone important to them. The two form a connection despite the pressure surrounding them, but as their romance grows, so does the risk. Kenna must find a way to absolve the mistakes of her past in order to build a future out of hope and healing. This one sounds actually really heavy. I didn't know what it was about until I read the premise just now, and it sounds really good. Like I said, really heavy, so I have a feeling it's going to be a tearjerker. The next one that I have is The Front Runner by Elsie Silver, and this one comes out on December 3rd, and it is the 3rd book in the Gold Rush Ranch series, and I loved books 1 and 2. I rated them 4.5 and 5 stars, so I just have a feeling I'm going to love this one, especially because of the tropes that she had told me about. And the premise says Stefan Dalka is beautiful, brooding, and bossy. He's also public enemy #1 in this small town with a murky past that's hard to overlook. And I just agreed to 3 fake dates with him. I may be a renowned veterinarian, but when I find myself in a sticky situation, Stefan is my last hope. I need his help to save a sick foal, and what he wants in return is me. Our time together starts out as a simple transaction, but the more time I spend with him, the more I wonder if he's not quite the villain they've made him out to be. With every intimate conversation and lingering look, the tension between us builds. I've been drawn to Stefan since the first day I laid eyes on him, and now he's downright irresistible. I know sleeping with the enemy is playing with fire, but like a moth to a flame, I'm attracted to the mysterious man in a way I can't explain, in a way those closest to me wouldn't approve of or understand. And the more he softens for me, the harder I fall. But as his mysteries unravel, so do hidden truths. Truths that are bound to leave someone burned. I just didn't expect that someone to be me. That sounds absolutely amazing, and I also really love Elsie as a person, so I am so excited to pick this one up, and I just know I'm going to love it. The next one is Put Me in Detention by Megan Quinn, and this one comes out also in January, but more towards the beginning of January. And there's no cover or premise yet for this, but I did really enjoy See Me After Class, which was set in a school setting. And I did enjoy Earn Your Extra Credit, which was a companion novel. And I think this is also set within the same world. So even though I don't know anything about it yet, I just have a feeling I'm going to love it. The next one is Running Wild by K.A. Tucker, and this one comes out the end of January, and this is from her Wild series, and you guys know I loved The Simple Wild, and I did enjoy the following books that she released in that same series following the same couple. And this one actually follows a character that was featured in one of the other stories, and I didn't really like her at the time, and this is her romance and her getting our redemption. So I'm really excited to find out about her story. We don't know really anything yet about the book, but I just have a feeling because I do like K.A. Tucker's writing that I'm going to enjoy this, especially because it's set in the same world in Alaska, and I'm just really excited to read it. The next one is Ignite by Melanie Harlow, and this book will already be published by the time this video comes out. It comes out on November 22nd, and this is from one of my absolute favorite series. It is the Cloverleaf Farm series, which was supposed to end after book 5, but now she is releasing a book 6, and it's about one of the children from one of the couples featured in the original series, so it is Next Generation, but is technically part of the same series. And this cover is everything. It is one of my favorite Melanie Harlow covers, so I'm really excited to pick this up. The premise says, my new neighbor is a firefighter and a scorching hot single dad, but I swear I didn't set off that smoke alarm on purpose, and I was beyond mortified when he rushed in and saw me naked. Nothing happened, of course, because I, Winnie McAllister, romance junkie and owner of a constantly broken heart, have sworn off men for one solid year, even protective men with chiseled jaws, bulging biceps, and deep brown eyes that make my breath come faster. Even former SEALs with broad chests and strong hands that make my skin sizzle. Even gorgeous, grumpy guys who have their hands full raising 2 adorable little girls and claim they don't believe in love, until Dex kisses me one night and I drop all my defenses. Also my underwear. He says he's not gentle, and he's right. He says I should take the dream job I'm offered in another state, and he's right. He says he's too old for me and could never be the man I deserve. He's wrong. Dex and I might be 12 years apart, but the fire between us is the kind that will never burn out. How can I convince him to give happily ever after with me a chance? Everything about this I just love. Age gap, single dad, small town, from a series that I love, so I think this one has some of the most potential for me to give it 5 stars. The next one is Washed Up by Kandi Steiner, and this one comes out the very beginning of December, and it's part of a new series that she is co-authoring with a bunch of other authors. So the first book is written by Kandi Steiner, and each of the following books is written by another author. I think she's writing with Tia Louise, KK Allen, and then Harlow Ray, so some other really good authors, and I'm so excited about this series because they all take place in hospitals, I believe. The synopsis says it was just another day in the ER department until she was wheeled in through the doors. Amanda Parks, my childhood best friend's mom, who I may or may not have secretly kissed before leaving for college. I haven't seen her in over a decade, and in so many ways she hasn't changed. Same killer curves, same hypnotizing eyes, same reaction from my heart when I see her. But something new, there isn't a ring on her finger anymore, and I'm much more of a man than I was at 18. Washed Up is a standalone age gap medical romance coming this winter. That sounds amazing, very taboo, and I love that about the premise, so I'm really excited to pick it up. The next one is The Summer Proposal by Vi Keeland, and this one comes out the beginning of January. And the premise of this says, the first time I met Max Yearwood was on a blind date. Max was insanely gorgeous, funny, and our chemistry was off the charts. He also had the biggest dimples I'd ever laid eyes on, exactly what I needed after my breakup. Or so I thought, until my real date arrived. Turned out Max wasn't who I was there to meet. He only pretended to be until my real date showed up. To say I was disappointed would be an understatement. Before he left, he slipped me a ticket to a hockey game a few blocks away, in case things didn't work out on my actual date. I tossed the ticket into my purse and went about trying to enjoy the man I was supposed to meet, but my real blind date and I had no connection. So on my way home, I decided to take a chance and stop by the game. When I arrived, the seat next to me was empty. Disappointed again, I decided to leave at the end of the period. Just before the buzzer, one of the teams scored and the entire arena went crazy. A player's face flashed up on the Jumbotron. He was wearing a helmet, but I froze when he smiled. You guessed it. Dimples. Apparently, my fake blind date hadn't invited me to watch hockey with him. He'd invited me to watch him play. And so began my adventure with Max Yearwood. He was everything I needed at the time. Fun, sexy, up for anything, and only around for a few months since he'd signed up with a new team 3,000 miles away. Max proposed we spend the summer helping me forget my ex. It sounded like a good plan. Things couldn't get too serious when we had an expiration date, right? Though you know what they say about the best laid plans. That sounds phenomenal. I love hockey sports romances, and it sounds exactly up my alley. So those are all of the romances that are coming out in the next couple of months that I think I'm going to give 5 stars. Like I said, I will do a follow-up video in a couple of months after all these books have come out and I have the chance to read them and let you guys know if I end up loving them. As always, I'll link all of them down below, and I will see you guys on my next one. Bye.